So what if the simulation, there are some things that are sort of, written, and it will happen. But between those checkpoints or those cutscenes, you have some free will then.
Okay. When I was a kid, I had this game where I pretended to be a hippo.
Lions are not the king of the jungle because they don't live in the jungle. They live in the savannah. Tigers live in the jungle. They are the king of the jungle.
Welcome to the second part of the 7th episode, aka the summer special. Today we're going to be talking about the meaning of life, the universe, and anything else that we find interesting, philosophical, thought-provoking, and valuable for our dear viewers.
Exactly.
Before we get started with today's episode, we would like to request you to subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your teachers, your professors, your colleagues, everyone that you know, to subscribe to the COPILOTS.
Thank you. 70% of you, I know, are not subscribed.
Still
Please.
70%?
Yeah, I think
Same
so.
figure, man.
Same. We need to change it. Like, what is happening?
Exactly.
Like, do you guys believe in a revolution or not? Like, come on.
Exactly. Because we, at the COPILOTS, were revolutionaries.
Exactly. Speaking of revolutions, but that's not the topic of today.
Cuba is a great country, man.
Fair.
It is.
But we left off, we were talking about the universe and a bit of the what James Webb Space Telescope found in terms of the galaxies, six galaxies that was found that was really early on in the universe they were born, even though we predicted with our Big Bang theories that wasn't meant to be possible, but it was possible, right?
Yeah.
And we were just asking. I wanted to ask you a question about this.
Yeah.
More so like a general one. Just what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah.
Not really anything specific, but as to these space missions and what information they find us, and what you really make of what we know so far about the universe.
Yeah. Like I was expecting there to be some, like, I wouldn't say anything revolutionary, but like definitely some like new information being revealed because of just superior technology when we compare it to what we had available in the 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Something we always have to remember with science is that it's never complete.
Yeah.
It always goes mostly in the right direction. It advances with time, with technological and financial improvements. But I think it's only appropriate to expect science to reveal new and, I guess, more refined theories about the origins of the universe and honestly anything, at least in the field of physics, which is always developing, I think. But I think it's really cool. I'd say I don't really have any reason not to believe in what they are saying about these findings regarding the new galaxy that was formed, like you said, 500 million years after the Big Bang. But that being said, like, I think you should always have like this sort of healthy criticality towards any new information that hasn't been like validated against like existing models, at least in case when it's like, shall we say, not established science yet. Like, I think usually like it takes some time for the scientific consensus to form, and only after it's been formed you can really say that something is like true for sure.
That's fair. But it's always interesting that a lot of these space missions, like the Hubble or the James Webb, they always have a mission that they are set forth, but they always end up finding something completely different.
Yeah, exactly. And then they focus on that and not the original thing.
And that becomes like, oh wait, that's way more interesting than whatever we were first trying to find.
Yeah.
And you get like a way bigger of an interesting story than whatever we had in mind before. And that's always interesting because I guess we always end up with more questions unanswered than questions answered whenever we're trying to answer some of them. But on the topic of time and a bit of the universe, let's say you had the ability to time travel.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, would you rather time travel into the future or into the past?
Yeah, I'd say I would most likely pick the future because I guess that I'm just fundamentally a very curious person. And the thing is, strictly speaking, you kind of can know everything about the past, whereas you can't really know anything about the future.
Yeah.
First of all, I'd be interested to see if my predictions were correct regarding global warming, geopolitics, anything really, the stock market. Man, I hear the Bitcoin's going up. You guys should buy.
Yeah, XRP is up.
Yeah, yeah. That's a story for another day.
That's very fun.
Let's just say we've dipped our foot into some crypto over the years.
You've definitely dipped.
Intentional, but nice. And it hasn't always gone too well. Anyways, back to the time traveling question. So yeah, I'd probably pick the future, even though I see great potential in the ability to go into the past, because obviously you could kill horrendous dictators. That would be kind of badass.
Yeah. Let's say like I can tell you more limits on this. So like in terms of the past, of course you know what year, like what happened and humans were alive at this period. So you know what to expect when you go to that era. But in the future, you don't really have that insight, of course. So like for example, if you want to go 2400, you can press it and you can go, but you don't really know if there's going to be even humans there. Yeah. To begin with.
Or the ability to return.
Yeah, and then you might be just stuck there on somewhat of a planet, and you're just, I don't know what you'll do. You're just there, but that's sort of the risk of going to the future.
Yeah.
And knowing that risk, how far would you be willing to go? By the way, and you're open to still take that risk. You can still go to year 5000 and just, you might still have humans there, and that might be fine.
Yeah.
You just don't know. The more the risk, right?
Yeah, obviously. I'd say if I had a privilege to use a system like that, I definitely wanted to exceed my own lifespan. So like, probably not this century, maybe 2100s, 2200s, etc. But I think for myself, I most likely wouldn't go into like the year 5000, for example.
Why not?
I just think there is, firstly, too big of a risk of everything that I witnessed then just being so alien to me that I wouldn't be able to sort of appreciate it with my 21st century brain. And with my, I guess, like, inbuilt ideas of what is normality.
Yeah, interesting.
And that's not to say that I wouldn't be curious to try something like that out, but it's just an interesting mind experiment for now.
Okay, I see.
How about you, actually?
You're saying that there would be a bit of a disconnect between what you are capable of comprehending and the sort of too much into the future.
I think that would be a high risk.
Yeah, it's an interesting take.
Yeah.
For me, like, I think I would also probably go into the future.
Yeah.
Like if I had the option of only doing one, otherwise I'd just go back.
Obviously.
Into the whole thing, But yeah, it's interesting because on the going back, I have a funny story about, not a funny, interesting story even, which said this guy supposedly time traveled from the year 2200 to the year 2002 roughly in America.
Shout out 2002, great year.
Great year. And this guy invested with $8 in the stock market, and a few days later ended up with $250 million in that time's money, which is really good. And people were like suspicious about him because how, like, they were saying, how can he get so lucky? Like, how can he have so much insight? He's definitely inside, like, he might be an insider guy, like, knowing how this stock markets work or something. So they questioned him, and he said, yeah, I'm just a time traveler who came back, and I knew everything that was going to happen, so I knew what was going to happen, so I just did that, what I needed to do. And, they detained him, and then they were, still not sure, but they saw in his documents, he only had documents a year or two prior to him investing in the stock market. Like, he was a 40-year-old man, but he had no birth certificate, no, like, past history, and he was, and this was in America, which is quite well documented, at least I feel so.
Yeah, I think so.
But, that was really weird, and a few years after the arrest, I guess, he disappeared, or like a few days later he disappeared, and he was never to be seen again. Yeah. It was very...
True story.
Yeah, true story, and it's interesting, but of course, like, there's, skepticism whether we can even go into the past. Yeah. But we certainly know that going to the future is definitely possible, and we have done it to a very small extent.
What do you mean?
Like, the cosmonaut Yuri Gagarin, the Russian who went around the Earth a lot. I think he was either first or still probably the longest time someone's been in space, I think.
Maybe. I'm not 100% sure, but sure.
and he went around the Earth at like high speeds, of course, for a while, like 6 months.
Yeah.
So because of that relatively high speed he was going at, relative to everyone else, it was like 0.0002 seconds all younger than everyone else.
Yeah, exactly.
Very small, little bit, but technically it's true. He went to the future.
So when he goes to his brother's funeral, everyone's gonna be saying like, Yuri, you're actually holding up really well for somebody that's like what, 83 and 1 nanosecond.
Yeah, pretty much. Yes. But it's still cool that it works that way. And I mean, we still don't have technology to go any faster. Exactly. So, yeah, it's definitely. I would probably go into the future.
Do you think that we're gonna have technology enabling us to travel at the speed of light, or like a major fraction of it in the next few centuries?
It would be a shame if we didn't. I think like it would be.
I'm gonna challenge you on that. Why would it be a shame if we didn't?
Because then there's such a big universe out there to be explored, and I think we're like one thing is that okay, we're humans on Earth and we're meant to explore Earth, okay, but there's also I don't think it's just Earth. It's just like.
Hello. So the reason why we look and potentially sound different is because we actually managed to travel to the future. Yeah, the thing is, we're wearing slightly different clothes, some of us completely different clothes because they just simply didn't get the fucking memo. But anyways, now here we are.
Here we are. Indeed.
I believe we were talking about why it would be a shame if we couldn't travel at the speed of light in the next couple of centuries. Do you maybe want to elaborate on that a bit more?
Yeah, like why we couldn't go at the speed of light?
Why that would be a shame.
Yeah, it would be a shame because, as you just heard, it would, to go into the future, you need to travel fast. And as what we know from science is, the closer you go to the speed of light, the faster you can go. And right now we have vehicles that cannot go that fast at all. Like, I don't think we even reach like a good percentage of the speed of light.
Definitely not.
Let alone like 1%. Like,
no.
Definitely not even that fast. Because that already would start making a lot of differences. And as we know, like the universe is so big, even light speed is too small, like too slow.
Yeah.
So, to get somewhere, like at least to our neighboring sort of solar systems, we need to travel somewhat at the speed of light.
Yeah.
And scientifically, it's never possible to travel at the speed of light or really close to it.
Yeah.
That's mainly because light is it has no mass.
Exactly.
It's a wave and a particle, but it's because it's a wave, it has no mass.
Duality.
Exactly, duality. And
photon.
Yeah, before I get into more, let me just turn this window off.
Good idea.
Otherwise it sounds like we're going at the speed of light.
Yeah, turn off the window. It's one way to put it.
I can't turn off the window.
Yeah, exactly. It's too wet.
Oh, that is a lot quieter.
Yeah, I know. That's a huge difference. Anyway, so light is faster than anything that we've been able to detect simply because it doesn't carry mass.
Exactly. So for something to go at the speed of light, it would need to have no mass.
Yeah.
For something like us in spacecraft, that's not possible because we're
massive.
We are massive, especially this guy.
Thank you.
I shouldn't be saying that. Yeah, but then to achieve somewhat closer to it would be great for us because then we can reach some of our nearest star systems like Alpha Centauri, which is a great promising one because it hosts Alpha Centauri B, which is a exoplanet which has a resemblance to Earth. It's in the Goldilocks zone. It probably has liquid water, what we know of, and it has really similar conditions to Earth, so that means it'll probably have something that looks like us.
And I think we both agree that it's a lot more promising to find intelligent life from other galaxies and other solar systems than from here, or to try to, transfer our organisms from the Earth to other planets in our solar system. Because let's be fair, the available planets in our solar systems aren't exactly the best.
No, I agree for sure.
Yeah.
We had certainly good planets back in the day, which were all habitable at one point.
Yeah.
Venus, Earth now, and Mars used to all have water on them at some point. So right now, that's not really the case. You have only Earth, which is the habitable one.
Yeah.
But think about it this way: where would you go if all of us had to move? Your whole family, yourself, all of it, you had to live on a different planet. would you rather go to Mars, which right now is nothing, or to something like Alpha Centauri, which really looks like Earth and doesn't need major upgrades?
Yeah,
per
exactly.
se?
Exactly.
You would go to there if it's possible, of course.
As long as you can get like a business class ticket.
Yeah, true. There's probably be some
Standards.
economy space class ticket.
Yeah, exactly. Nice.
Nice.
Spacious.
Yeah, but indeed, like that would be ideal for us to go to. If we have that capability, then we can start going to put like really feasible planets for a long-lasting civilization.
Yeah.
Like Mars will also be one, but the issue is mainly with terraforming the whole planet.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is something that's like the largest endeavor, the largest project we have ever.
And I think it's a bit of a ridiculous project because we're leaving a planet that supposedly has too much CO2 in its atmosphere at 0.04% for a planet that has 95% of its atmosphere being CO2.
Yeah.
Because it is better for us.
Yeah.
I doubt it. Yeah, and that's neglecting all the facts like radiation and the cancer that it causes and stuff like that. So I feel like Mars, it's a good starting point. It can be like a proof of concept, but like I wouldn't want to live on the red planet myself.
Fair enough. Yeah. The whole idea though, like I do still support Mars and like going to Mars.
Sure.
Mainly because it remains a plan B.
Yeah.
And it's the best one we have right now. That's due to our limited resources, and even that is a stretch right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Like think about, if we have better technology where we could go, but we have to kind of live with the reality of today is like even Mars is hard right now.
Yeah.
And the thing is like for sure like there's an idea of putting all the greenhouse gases that we emit, all the factories on Mars, because that will actually help turn Mars into Earth, and Earth doesn't need that anymore. So it's kind of funny, but
it is.
I think
transportation costs would literally skyrocket.
Yeah. So we have to develop in technology in great amount to have become a type 1 or type 2 actually civilization. We're not even type 1 yet, so we have a long way to go for sure. But I do want to say it's certainly very interesting to me, since we were on the topic of space and universe, that like Mars like had water at one point.
Yeah.
And that's super interesting. And,
and why is it no longer there?
Yeah, like what happened to it? Like it's super interesting, and is it something that might happen to Earth?
Yeah.
Right. And I wonder that because like I read something about this. I'm not sure if it's completely true. But I read some sources that said, when we were just becoming modern humans, that's one of the last traces of water, like 200,000 years ago. That's when Mars completely dried up around that time.
Just 200,000 years ago.
It could have been then or 6.3 million years ago.
Okay.
I'm not totally sure.
Yeah.
But it was recent. It was
it's recent. Planetary terms. Yeah.
But it's insane how when Mars was fully habitable, Earth was like a terrible
total disaster.
Yeah.
Dumpster fire, literally.
Yeah. So like a few billion years ago, if aliens visited this area,
they
would be like, "Ooh, Mars, that's a good one."
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, Venus, that's a good one.
Yeah, exactly.
Earth looks terrible.
Yeah.
Wow, red, molten.
Rome was like Mars was the Rome of space. Yeah, like all spaceships led to Mars, I guess.
I guess so. I guess, and even Venus was really good.
Yeah. Big fan of Venus. I'm also a big fan of.
Is it recording?
Yeah, it's recording. But not that, hopefully.
Okay.
Let's talk about the multiverse for a second.
Ooh.
Multiple universes.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a realistic thing?
Yes. 100%. 100%.
Do you think it's been proven?
Has
it been?
I don't think it has been proven.
No.
Like, I mean, most things aren't proven in this sort of realm.
Yeah.
But they're also not disproven.
Yeah.
Right? So there's the possibility of it being there, and we have there is some evidence, and there's a lot of people who believe that it is.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what we go off of. So to explain the concept of multiverse to some people who might not know, it's the idea that we are living in one universe, but there are many universes, many,
potentially infinitely many.
Potentially infinite universes, like, parallel universes, basically many versions of this, but with some changes, some differences based on maybe some decisions some people made, or it's very complicated actually. But that's why it's infinite, and that we can just say, okay, infinite, so that solves our issue, right? But yeah.
Since I feel like neither one of us knows about the science of the multiverse concept that precisely, maybe we can talk about how we sort of interpret the idea, how we imagine it to be. Because like to me, it's really bizarre to think of like infinite universes.
Yeah.
Because the universe already itself, it's I guess not infinite, but it is growing at an accelerating pace and it is immense.
Yeah.
And I feel like I maybe sort of struggle intellectually to find enough imagination to, realize infinitely many universes as big as this one.
Yeah. It's like, I guess we can talk about like how we feel about it or how we think about it.
Sure.
One major thing that like kind of made me think of it like, kind of get around the idea.
Yeah.
Is just kind of realize that, like life as we know it, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Like, the universe, the story of how our universe was born, is pretty extraordinary.
Yeah.
And the thing that like, with multiverse, it's sort of just like acceptance of reality in a way. So like think about it this way, like there's a decision you have to make coming soon, like it can be a small one, but right now you have power to go in one way or the other way, and that will change your life, and for sure if you do the other one, that will certainly change your life, right? And when you keep going back to every single decision everyone has ever made, or everything thing that has made,
exactly,
and kind of just accept with the fact that there's so many ways that this could have gone, this is just one of them.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know, like if it makes sense, but I kind of find peace with that. That like, like instead of challenging the idea, kind of just acceptance of it.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah.
Yeah, active acceptance.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
And have you seen actually Loki?
Loki?
Yeah.
I'm not sure actually.
It talks about this idea actually.
Yeah.
Like it's an interesting one. It's based off the Marvel character Loki, of course, or also the god of mischief from the mythology. But in this one, they explored basically the multiverse theory.
Yeah, exactly.
And we have many movies who also now started to discuss it a little bit.
Yeah,
it's been sort of a hot topic.
Yeah. I think it's like highly interlinked with the concept of chaos theory, which is like if you have, say, like a double pendulum, a physical system, and then you set it off in motion. Even tiny deviations, like in the original starting trajectory, will have huge differences for the outcome and the final state of the system.
Yeah.
I think you wanted to actually do like a high school physics project about something like that, but then it was kind of not realistic at our skill level. Honestly, like nowadays, I feel like we both understand how much more elaborate math and physics that would require.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if we'd be able to carry that out right now, even though like we'd understand at least why we couldn't carry it out.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Like I'm not trying to own you. I mean, a little bit of that too, but like.
Hey, I mean, you had the idea of making a helicopter.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. Yeah.
That was awesome. I mean, actually, what was your final project there?
My final project was from one topic to another.
Yeah. Just real quick.
Yeah, like I was investigating how the dampener on a piano will affect like the resonance of the strings. Yeah, because I'm a pianist, so it was very close to home for me, I guess.
I see.
You did something.
I cannot talk about what I did.
Let's just say it was a very fresh project.
It's too sus if I even get into it. So let's just move on.
Man, I love your deodorant.
Thank you. Yeah, it was about that. But I still have the photos and But anyway, for the speed of light and
imagine you
universe.
dropping Nigel here. Farage.
Hello.
We love you, Duddles. Thanks for everything. We appreciate it. Yeah. Go on, sorry.
Yeah, so with the multiverse, I mean it's just cool, but what it links to for me is there's so much weird shit that just is and we have to accept.
Yeah.
Could this all just be a simulation?
That's a really interesting question.
Like we're all just in some computer of some mega alien.
I personally feel like I could be comfortable with the idea of life being a simulation, but I wouldn't be comfortable with the idea of not having free will in the said simulation.
Okay.
I've read some of the arguments in favor of like there not being any true free will, but I'm not very convinced by them because I feel like in my personal life sometimes I make very, I guess, highly thought out decisions, whereas at other times I think I'm gonna do thing X, and then at last minute I'm like, I'll do thing Y instead.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's no way that some hyper intelligent alien could have ever coded that into my character, so to say.
Yeah.
And I struggle with sort of accepting that sort of a stochastic element to free will.
How about this? Let's get more interesting on it.
Yeah,
because
sure.
when we're playing a game, right? There's a setting in the beginning. There's a certain set of characters. They have names, a certain location, and then you're starting at some point, right? And there are some things that are already existing.
Yeah.
And after when the cutscene ends, you can play.
Okay.
So what if the simulation? There are some things that are sort of written.
Yeah.
And it will happen. But
Yeah.
between those checkpoints or those cutscenes,
okay.
you have some free will there.
Okay. I think I would already be a lot more accepting of this sort of narrative on it. Yeah. How do you feel about that actually?
It's actually very interesting because there are some Hindu scriptures which say something like this. In a way, they also talk about multiverse.
Yeah.
And they said there are some things that are written, but there are some things that are basically left unwritten.
Yeah.
Because that is free will.
Okay.
But some things sort of have to happen, like the birth of the universe and stuff like this, and the end of the universe.
Okay.
And for it to start over again.
Really
So that was what I found interesting, and it kind of relates to how we make games now. So it's kind of comparable to if we were a simulation.
That's actually really interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. And that was written I'm guessing millennia ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah.
A really long time. Probably 5, 6, maybe 10,000 years ago.
Wow.
It's some old stuff.
Yeah.
Some old stuff.
For sure.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know, and information is an interesting thing because it always gets lost throughout history simply because of
entropy.
Yeah, that too. But also wars and stuff like this, and you lose knowledge.
We've only had the means to document historical data for 20,000 years, and even back then that was literally you use a rock to draw on some mountain. Okay, I have 5 breads.
Yeah,
this dude owes me, and then at some point you get you invent writing, and then you have the printing press, and now you have the internet, which is such a great repository of just human wisdom.
Yeah, now it's really good, and now it's really secure. You have repositories, you have many ways. Back then, a lot of things were stored in universities, and unfortunately, a lot of these old universities which had, I guess, sacred knowledge were burned down.
Yeah, exactly.
Due to invaders and wars, and unfortunately, that knowledge is just lost to us.
But I feel like we still can't get too comfortable with the idea of having everything on the cloud online because of geomagnetic storms, for example. They could potentially erase hundreds of billions of gigabytes of data just like that, and then we're screwed.
What is this geomagnetic storm actually?
Geomagnetic storms, yeah, sure. So I'm no expert by any means, but the sun, it sends out magnetic waves, and sometimes you have I guess more intense periods of just electromagnetic waves being
Is it a solar wind?
Yeah, it's a solar wind, being radiated from the sun. And there is at least a theory saying that if we were to encounter this sort of a maximum level solar wind here on Earth, there's a high chance that it could pretty much destroy all of the electromagnetic dependent infrastructure, as well as destroy a lot of the data that we store in on the cloud, so to say.
Even with our magnetic sphere?
Yeah.
Stronger ones that go through it.
Yeah. It can penetrate it, unfortunately.
I see.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And this is actually, I think, something that, again, I'm not an expert, but something that scientists are looking into, how we could actually sort of shield ourselves against such a geomagnetic event.
Yeah, I see. Hope it doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. I have a lot of great notes on my phone.
Yeah, same.
About future episodes, for example.
Yeah.
Which I think brings us back to the reality of this episode being a full hour long already.
Yeah, probably. I think so.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting discussion.
It really has.
An interesting talk. We talked a lot about stuff from some entropy stuff to, you know, the what type of civilization we are, to where we are in the universe, evolution, where we are now. One last fun question. What's your favorite animal that you would be? Anything in the...
When I was a kid,
yeah,
I had this game where I pretended to be a hippo, like to my parents, and I just really like felt like a hippo, I guess.
Why didn't you stop playing that game?
Who says I stopped?
That's nice. I would be a tiger. That's just
tigers are cool. Favorite. So much better than lions.
Yeah, that's true.
Do you maybe quickly want to go through a list of reasons why tigers are a lot better than lions?
Okay, real quick. Tigers, more athletic, okay? They are the biggest cat than lions, okay? Fucking, okay. I really get excited when I talk about this because lions are not the king of the jungle because they don't live in the jungle. They live in the savannah. Tigers live in the jungle. They are the king of the jungle. One lion, one tiger. A tiger wins easily because a tiger can hunt on its own. A lion needs a pack, a whole fucking group of people to survive.
And what do you feel about ligers and tyons? So male and female, female, male.
They cannot reproduce anymore, so they both kind of, they can, yeah, it just kind of ends after one generation. Right. But on that note, tigers and lions, tigers are better. Hippos are cool.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in with us. We really appreciate your company. I wish to see you next time. Subscribe, like, share it with your friends, share it with everyone. And as per usual, we are the co-pilots. Signing off. Signing out. Okay, let's do this. We are the co-pilots. Signing out. Goddamn, yeah. And we are the co-pilots. Signing out. Beautiful.
Nice. So what if the simulation, there are some things that are sort of, you know, written.
Yeah.
And you have, it will happen. But between those checkpoints or those cutscenes, you have some free will there.
When I was a kid, I had this game where I pretended to be a hippo.
Lions are not the king of the jungle because they don't live in the jungle. They live in the savannah. Tigers live in the jungle. They are the king of the jungle.